Welcome in, everyone, to Football Friday. We are back. It's been a long time, dude.
It's been a long minute.
Your schedule didn't work. Logan's schedule wasn't working. My schedule wasn't working. I was really mad, dude. The Monday show, I was hoping to get one in on Monday. My team forced me to leave a little, like an hour late from wherever I was, Kansas City, I don't know, whatever. But I got to turn this AC off real quick before we get into this so we don't get background noise. How are you doing, though, sir?
Doing well on the road. Camp opens up. We're getting it ready for some D2 football, baby.
Yes, sir. I have no clue how to turn this AC off because I turned it off on the wall and it doesn't work. But anyways, we have a lot to talk about. We're gonna speed read through the news, give a little comment about each thing, and then go. The script ended up being 15 pages today, so that was fun to write up. But we've missed a lot. We don't have everything that's going on right now. We'll get the rest of the current news on Monday's show because we'll have a Monday show that I'll be more prepared for. But anyways, to get it going here. We have the cities and coach designations, and most of the stadiums announced as well. They did that at the XFL town hall meeting in Arlington, which they announced is going to be where their home base is. That's where right now it's scheduled for everyone to practice in Arlington and then travel to their home markets for games every weekend. So there are 5 holdover cities from the old XFL from 2020, 3 new cities. So the cities are Seattle, coached by Jim Haslett. They're going to play at Lumen Field, which is where the Seahawks. Vegas, that's a new city. That will be coached by none other than Rod Woodson. I think that's a perfect fit. He was a former leader. And their city's not nailed. Their stadium's not nailed down yet. Possibly, though, they will be playing in the Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. St. Louis, your boys have a team. Your city has a team again, Mark.
Back in the mix, baby.
They return. Not sure if they're going to be called the Battlehawks again or not, but St. Louis will have a team. They'll be coached by Anthony Becht, former Titans tight end, and they will be back in the Dome.
Edward Johnstone.
Arlington, that's a new city. They'll be coached by Bob Stoops, and they will play at Choctaw Stadium, which does not have any football affiliation. The Texas Rangers used to play there, I believe, is what I read. And the one of the Texas soccer teams, I believe, plays there. One of the MLS teams or something plays at Choctaw Stadium. Houston returns as a city. They'll be coached by and they will be playing at TD-ECU Stadium, where the University of Houston plays. Washington, D.C.
Stadium.
They'll be coached by Reggie Barlow. They will play at Audi Field. That's where D.C. United plays, MLS team. And then the final city, it's a new city, Orlando. If you remember, we saw Orlando in the AAF That's what I was thinking of when I heard Orlando. I was like, how is Orlando a new city? But I guess I was thinking of the AAF, the Orlando Apollos. But they are new to the XFL. They will be coached by Terrell Buckley. They will play at Camping World Stadium. So Camping World Stadium finally has a host. It's just been a utility stadium where the Pro Bowl has happened the last few years since moving from Hawaii. But do you have any thoughts real quick on any of the head coaches or the city's stadiums?
No, I love what they're doing with the coaches, and I think the practicing in one side and flying to your home base is a bit odd, but I trust The Rock knows what he's doing. He's a good business.
Yeah. Are you going through some mountains, Mark?
I am Virginia Mountain.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yes.
But the first game, we got the date of the first game for the XFL. Don't know who it's going to be, but it will be February 18th, 2023. That will be the 2 weekends after the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is going to be February 5th, I believe. And then February 18th is 2 Saturdays after that. And we also, or no, I already said that. They could hold weekly practices in Dallas area and travel to local markets. That's not confirmed yet. NCAA news, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Big 12, Pac-12, they won't be partnering anymore. Those negotiations broke down. So they are still independent for now, out there trying to fight off the mega conferences of the SEC and the Big Ten now. So yeah, they are not going to join up.
Pac-12 is going away. It's all I got to say.
Yeah, which we'll talk more about on Monday, I believe. I have the re-expansion of the Big Ten talk for Monday. Kirby, our boy, he got paid.
Payday. Payday.
University of Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, he signed a 10-year, $112.5 million extension. Love it. He's going to be there. He finally got him over the hump. I guess that's what it took to get him an extension.
He's got to now go back it up even more.
Yeah, I think in order to make that extension work, he has to win at least one more over the next 5 years.
100%.
Sticking with the SEC, the all-SEC preseason all-SEC teams were announced. There's 3 of them. We'll run through them pretty quickly. First team offense, quarterback Bryce Young, Alabama. Running backs, Tank Bigsby, Auburn, and Jahmyr Gibbs, Alabama. Wide receivers, Kayshon Boutte, LSU, and Jermaine Burton, Alabama. You're a traitor, Jermaine. Our guy, tight end Brock Bowers, Georgia, he is going to win the Mackey Award this. Offensive line, Emil Ekiyor Jr., Alabama. Warren McClendon, Georgia. Osiris Torrance, Florida. Nick Broker, Ole Miss. And center Ricky Stromberg, Arkansas. That's your first team offense. First team defense, defensive line, Jalen Carter, Georgia. BJ Ojulari, LSU. Derek Hall, Auburn. Byron Young, Tennessee. Linebackers, Will Anderson Jr., Alabama. Nolan Smith, Georgia. Henry Tuotuo, Alabama. Defensive backs, Jordan Battle, Alabama. Keely Ringo, Georgia. Eli Ricks, Alabama. And Jalen Catalon, Arkansas. And then your first team punter, Nick Constantino, Texas A&M. Place kicker Will Reichard, Alabama. Return specialist Kieris Jackson, Georgia. And all-purpose is Jahmyr Gibbs, Alabama. Any thoughts on SEC first team?
If correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the going trend was Alabama. So if anyone needs a title favorite, I would start with them.
Yeah, Alabama had the most players on the list. I don't remember what the number was between the three teams, but Georgia is well represented. They are second, and I will say Osiris Torrance. Nice nod for him. He's a Louisiana transfer to Florida, came over with Billy. So,
yep.
Second team offense: quarterback Hendon Hooker, Tennessee; running backs Chris Rodriguez Jr., Kentucky; and Devin Achane, Texas A&M; Tennessee; Jonathan Mingo, Ole Miss; tight end Cameron Latu, Alabama; offensive line Layden Robinson, Texas A&M; Kenneth Horsey, Kentucky; White, Tennessee; Javion Cohen, Alabama; center Cedric Van Pran. Second team defense, defensive line Zach Pickens, South Carolina; DJ Dale, Alabama; Ali Gay, LSU; and Colby Wooden, Auburn. Linebackers Bumper Pool, Arkansas; Dallas Turner, Alabama; Brenton Cox Jr., Florida. Defensive backs Cam Smith, South Carolina; Antonio Johnson, Texas A&M; Christopher Smith, Georgia; Emmanuel Forbes, Mississippi State; and special teams punter Oscar Chapman of Auburn; place kicker Anders Carlson, Auburn; return specialist Anais Smith, Texas A&M; and all-purpose Devin Achane, Texas A&M. Felt like there's a lot more Tennessee and A&M in the second team.
I was about to say here. I mean, we're gonna have these conversations leading up to the season, but if we get in a shootout, the SEC, if it gets into Georgia, Tennessee to decide it, the winner of the SEC East, and it's a shootout, I would pick Tennessee over Georgia.
It's all hype. It's all hype. Don't believe it.
Hendon Hooker is pretty good.
Don't believe it. Third team offense: quarterback Will Levis, Kentucky; running back Zach Evans, Ole Miss; Kenny McIntosh, Georgia; wide receiver Anais Smith, Texas A&M; Josh Vann, South Carolina; tight end Jaheim Bell, South Carolina; offensive line Brady Latham, Arkansas; Tyler Steen, Alabama; Javon Foster, Missouri; Jeremy James, Ole Miss; Kendall Randolph, Alabama; center Cooper Mays, Tennessee; defensive line Jervon Dexter, Florida; Justin Eboigbe, Alabama; Mason Smith, LSU; McKinley Jackson, Texas A&M; linebackers Owen Papo, Auburn; Ventrell Miller, Florida; Jeremy Banks, Tennessee; defensive backs Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alabama; Trey Dean III, Florida; Trayvon Flowers, Tennessee; Malachi Moore, Alabama; special teams punter Paxton Brooks, Tennessee; place kicker Harrison Mavis, Missouri; return specialist JoJo Early, Alabama; and all-purpose Anais Smith, Texas A&M. So yeah, Alabama's still getting people on all three teams, I believe. Okay, that is all the NCAA news we got. So let's go to NFL. We had a trade. This was a long time ago, but we had a trade. The Patriots found a partner to get rid of their former first-round pick. Wide receiver N'Keal Harry is a Bear. He is a Chicago Bear. The Bears send back to the Patriots a 2024 seventh-round selection, so they couldn't even get a pick in next year's draft. They had to wait till 24 to get one. But yeah, it's a refresher for N'Keal Harry. He gets to change places and see what he can do. and he has a great opportunity. The Bears didn't do anything except for draft Velus Jones. That's all he did at the receiver position this offseason.
Plenty of opportunity.
So, I mean, I didn't think he was a first-round pick when the Patriots drafted him. But first-round pedigree, you're going to get chances. Moving on. Like I said, we're speed reading through this. Trying to anyways. We found out the official cause of death for former Cowboys running back Marion Barber. Officially died of heat stroke at 38 years old. They had said he had been having problems with that. But I guess left alone. Something happened. It was too hot. His AC wasn't on. I don't know the exact full story, but we finally have a conclusion, and we know what Marion died of.
It's truly tragic, and taking a pounding like that, your body just can't self-regulate like it used to. Just terrible situation.
Gronk made news a couple weeks ago. He declared that he will remain retired. Even if Tom Brady calls, he will not. He'll pick up the phone, but he said he won't play again.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, it looked like he could barely get up and down the field last time he was on the field.
Well, and you saw it with with what the Bucs have done at the tight end position. I don't think I have the signing on here. No, I do. We'll get to the key signing they made at that position a little bit later in the show.
Yep.
ESPN, they announced their crew or a crew that will broadcast multiple NFL games this season. Steve Levy, Louis Riddick, Dan Orlovsky as the analysts, and Laura Rutledge will be on the sidelines. So a little bit of college flair with Laura Rutledge there. And then Steve Levy, Louis Riddick, they return. I don't know if this isn't the Monday night crew, right? I believe. I didn't look into it.
I don't think it is. I didn't see that.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not sure what games they will be broadcasting, but we'll have to wait and see. But I love Orlovsky. Louis Riddick, I will have to say I used to love him. Now I just like him. Some of the stuff on Twitter that he has been posting has thrown me a little bit from love to like, but I still do like him. Very, very sad news for the Texans rookie wide receiver John Metchie III. He announced on Twitter that he has acute promyelocytic leukemia, will likely not play at all this season, missing his entire rookie season. Dude, this was a guy I was very excited for. I thought that he would elevate Davis Mills, even though he was most likely going to miss maybe a couple games to start the season because he didn't tear his ACL until the SEC championship game in December. But yeah, man, this sucks. And luckily, like he said in his post, it is very treatable. One of the most treatable forms of cancer that there is. So he will get that through, come back stronger than ever, and we'll be able to see him debut in 2023. Thoughts on John Metchie, Mark?
I just, I was sorry, I was going through a mountain range again. There's a lot of them. But we were talking to the I was talking to our head coach here, and he actually Metchie school, and he coached against them, and we were just talking about, you're in the championship game and you're killing it, and then you tear an ACL, and then this happens. But if there is any silver lining to how awful this is it, from what I read, it's the most curable form.
Correct.
So I think the things that
we lost Mark in the mountains again.
make athletes, I've said it on this show before,
Go ahead.
competitive and determined, and a good athlete are
Well, we keep losing Mark in the mountains, which I wholeheartedly understand. But we will move on. All-Star game changes. So the 2023 Shrine Bowl, that will have 2 full NFL coaching staffs based on draft position. And the Senior Bowl will have 2 staffs of nominated coaches. They're going to rotate, switch that back in 2024. The games will also increase from 26 to 30 coaches, so more opportunity for coaching players. And then each non-playoff team, they will be required to nominate its designated minority assistant for the nominated staff. So it looks like they're trying to make the whichever game in a certain year is nominated coaching staffs, they're looking to make those coaching staffs fully all minority coaches. And then the other one will be just like the Senior Bowl, lowest or 2 highest draft picks with returning coaching staffs. I think that's what the full coaching staffs based on draft position means. We have some uniform announcements. This is the big year for uniforms. So we will get to show you all of these beauties. Starting off with the Texans red helmets.
I like them.
Yeah, I think they're gonna look nice. I would hope that they wear their blue jerseys with these. I don't know if they would look very good with white jerseys. So I'm hoping they wear their blue ones with the red helmets. I don't know. They don't have a red. I don't think they have a red jersey, right?
Did they have one alternate? I think they've wore red before in the past.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I would personally like to see them with the blue jerseys, the regular home jerseys. They are going to debut those against my team, the Eagles, on November 3rd. I'm sorry to say, Texans, the red helmets will not help you win the game. Okay, we have another helmet. We have a lot of helmets, really. Not many teams are actually putting uniforms out. It's a lot of helmets because this is the first year that you can change and get multiple helmets, or a different colored helmet as your base. So the Bengals also putting out a new helmet here. It is white tiger, white Bengal tiger look. And
it is amazing. It's amazing.
I love it. The all white looks so clean. As you see Joe Mixon in the white uniform with the helmet. Joe Burrow looks even better in it. This is the picture that I love right here. Yeah, that's a good one. So they already debuted these uniforms before. They just added the white helmet now. Again, I absolutely love it. I think it's going to look so clean on the field. The Panthers going the opposite. They are debuting a black helmet, which I like. I think it's going to look pretty cool with right here. Like you see Brian Burns, the all black uni that they have. It's not my favorite out of the uniform changes that have been announced, but I do like it.
All I have to say is Charlotte is one hot city, and I hope they use it at a night game.
Yeah, or later in the season, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next uniform up, the Giants. They are going to wear their 80s, 90s jerseys for 2 games this season. We'll have to wait to see what games they are going to be wearing those. But there you go. There is Danny Dimes in the 80s, 90s Giants uniform. You can see it originally right here on Phil Simms. Saquon's wearing it right there. But yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's a staple. History. Again, just like the Texans' red helmets, I don't think it's going to help the Giants play any better.
Unfortunately, I don't think so
either. Next up, Cowboys. We're staying in division. They're going to wear their throwback helmets for the Thanksgiving game this year. So it doesn't look much different than their current ones, other than there is no white outline on the star. The star is a little bigger, and the base of the helmet is white, not gray. This is on Tyron Smith right here. You can see it on Tony Romo when they used to wear it before. But yeah, I think I like those ones better than the Giants uniforms. I don't know. It just said they're wearing their throwback helmet. I don't know if they're wearing their throwback jersey with it or not. So we'll have to wait till Thanksgiving to see, though. The Jets, they announced a black helmet uniform combo. They're going to wear this. Here it is right here. I think this I think looks a lot better than the Panthers. The green and black, I think is I don't know. I just like it better than the Carolina blue and black. But the Jets are going to wear these October 30th against the Patriots, and November 27th against the Bears, and December 22nd against the Jags. So I think they might go or should go 2-1 in the black unis this fall. Have you seen the black uniforms, Mark, for the Jets?
I have, and I think it's going to look good. I think New York people are going to like it.
Yeah, as you can see, they've already worn the black uniforms. They just are adding the black helmet now. So I think that's going to look a lot better than the green helmet that you see Zach Wilson wearing right here. Next, the Eagles. The Commanders are the only NFC East team to not, or no, they did come out with their uniform, I guess, right? Technically, I mean, their new branding is, I guess, technically a new uniform. But the Eagles, they are bringing a black helmet as well. Here we go. Black with the normal white wings. I was not that happy or that impressed with the Eagles black helmet. I don't know. I just can't think of a uniform that they wear, because they have a black, they have a green, and they have a white uniform. I don't know. I don't know which uniform they're going to put with it. I'm not really that big of a fan, and it's my own team.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go with like throwback uniforms of when Randall Cobb was playing.
Cunningham.
Sorry, I didn't mean Cobb. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought they were going to roll the Kelly Greens back out.
Yeah. I saw a picture and I was like, oh, yeah, Kelly Greens are coming back.
Yeah, with the old school Eagles wings on them. But
I love that uniform.
They went new school and they brought a black helmet instead. Like I said, so look, you can see here, Jalen Hurts, the black uniform. I love the black on black uniforms when they wear it. Even the black, and they wear the white pants sometimes. I love their black jerseys. But I think it looks perfectly fine with the green helmet, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see if they go and they wear all black one game. I just don't know. Not sure it's going to look that great. The Bears. I think this was the most dramatic, right? The Bears debuted or will debut a New Jersey uni combo. Week 6, Thursday Night Football against the Commanders. Orange. It's orange. And it's a lot of orange. Orange helmet, orange jersey. They might as well be the Browns out there. Take the C's off the helmets and look what you got. You got Cleveland. Mark, Bears orange jerseys with the helmets.
I like bold colors and like the Thursday night games, the bright colors that they've been using. So I'm not a Bears fan, and it's kind of loud, but I don't mind it.
I don't know, man. It's out there. The orange helmet.
It's better than the Seahawks lime green that they have. That's all I can say. But I hate the Seahawks.
Well, like I said, all you do is take the C's off of this helmet and you're the Cleveland Browns. So that's all I'm saying. Last one here. It's another black helmet. That's a trend. Cardinals. See, this is the lone, I think, there was 3 black helmets, I think. Panthers, Eagles, 4
Cardinals,
Jets. And yeah, we have the Cardinals black helmet here. I think the Cardinals one is the one I like the most out of the 4.
It's pretty clean too.
Yeah, I think it looks very nice. See, and I don't know which one it's this one that I have pictured, because I have these other ones that have a red cardinal on it with it's the Louisville Cardinal one. The other picture on here, I don't know why they have that coming up. Actually, no, I mean there's the Arizona Cardinals logo, I guess, but it's the Louisville helmet with the matte black and the red cardinal instead of the normal logo with kind of a shiny black. But yeah, I like the Cardinals black. I think it's gonna look nice with their red jerseys.
I agree.
So let's get back to PowerPoint here. We got a lot of retirements going on. First, offensive tackle Mitchell Schwartz. Chiefs offensive tackle Mitchell Schwartz. He has retired. He was the Browns 2012 second round selection, number 37 overall. Played with the Browns from 2012 to 15 and the Chiefs from 16 to 20. 134 games played, all starts. One-time first team All-Pro, 3-time second team All-Pro, and of course, Super Bowl 54 champs with the Chiefs. Mitchell Schwartz, nice guy, and nice career he had. Any thoughts on Mitchell Schwartz, Mark? Mark's going through a mountain again. We'll get his thoughts on Mitchell Schwartz whenever he comes out of the mountains. But Raiders guard Richie Incognito has also retired. He was a Ram, Mark. Rams. 2005.
He'll be remembered for a few plays and a few off the field incidents.
Rams 2005 third round selection, number 81 overall. Played with the St. Louis Rams 05 to 09. The Bills in 09 as well. Played with the Dolphins from 2010 to 13. Had a little incident there, just a little one, right? Returned with the Bills in 2015. Played with them through 17, and then was with the Oakland/Las Vegas Raiders 2019 to 21. 164 games, all starts, just like Mitchell Schwartz. All of his games he played were starts. 4-time Pro Bowler for Richie Incognito. Interesting, Mitchell Schwartz, Richie Incognito. Schwartz was never a Pro Bowler, but Incognito was never an All-Pro.
Yeah, I mean, both of them, might not be going to the Hall of Fame, but those are nice NFL careers.
Right. Yeah, Incognito, I did not know that he was drafted all the way in 05. I didn't know he was that old.
He's been around, and he's been durable as well.
I was like, dang. So, yeah, 05 to 21, that's 17 NFL seasons. That's a lot for a guard. I mean, he missed one season, 2014. That was the only time he didn't play.
Yep.
Dolphins corner Jason McCourty. He has also retired. Titans 2009 sixth round selection, number 203 overall. Played with the Titans 09 to 16, the Browns in 17, the Patriots 18 to 20, and finished up his career with Miami in 21. 173 games, 141 starts, 744 total tackles, 598 of them solo, 18 tackles for loss, 108 pass deflections, 18 interceptions, 1 pick six, 9 forced fumbles, 5 fumble recoveries, and 2 of them returned for a touchdown. Jason McCourty, another guy, all 3 of these guys, not going to the Hall of Fame, but very nice, long careers.
Yeah, people that you would want on your team.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Franchise tag deadline. That was quite a while ago, but we didn't have any new deals agreed to. So Dalton Schultz, Cowboys tight end, Dolphins tight end Mike Gesicki, Chiefs offensive tackle Orlando Brown Jr., and Bengals safety Jesse Bates III. All are going to play on their franchise tags this season, and their teams will hope to lock them up next year. USFL signings. We got guys in the league now. So a bunch of guys here. Commanders, they signed Stars corner Channing Stribling. Raiders signed a couple guys here. Gamblers wide receiver Isaiah Zuber and Breakers corner Ike Brown. Packers, they signed Breakers tight end Sal Cannella. Cardinals signed Stallions wide receiver Victor Bolden Jr., the MVP of the championship game, I believe he was. The Rams, they signed Generals quarterback Louis Perez, and the Jags signed Breakers quarterback Kyle Sloter. And then the Cardinals, they worked out USFL Defensive Player of the Year Gamblers defensive end Chris Odom. We'll have more signings, more USFL signings to talk about on Monday's show, but bunch of guys getting signed already. Love to see it. That means it's working, right?
Yeah.
I think the best opportunity for all those guys out of all those guys is going to be Channing Stribling. I think Washington needs help at corner, and that's the guy I can see getting the best shot there. Sal Cannella actually with the Packers, I don't really know what they have after Robert Tonyan, because their third round draft pick a couple years ago has not worked out. I can't remember his name right now, and I believe Mercedes Lewis retired. Maybe not. He just keeps going under the radar. But if you are still in the league, I apologize, Mercedes. Training camp, we're here. It's
Yeah.
Training camp has opened for all 32 NFL teams. And Mark, it is July 29th. Do you know what that means, sir?
It's gnarly day.
We are 6 days away from an actual NFL game. Not one that counts. It does count in the record books, though, technically. It counts in the Ravens record books, really, considering they have won freaking 20 or whatever in a row in the preseason. So, but yes, the Hall of Fame game, August 4th, Thursday, August 4th.
Next week, baby. Next week, I'm back.
That is coming up. The Rams. I hate this. But you're a Rams fan, so we will show it. The Rams got their rings.
Yes, sir.
And I had to say, I hate that they won the Super Bowl because I wanted the Bengals. I wanted the Bengals to win. But I do have to say, these rings
are dope.
Are something. You can see they have the stadium on the ring, essentially. And inside, you can see they have a really cool video on Twitter. I believe it's on the Rams Twitter page. That is like I don't even know how they did it, but they like go through. I guess digitally they did it. It's kind of like a drone shot, like through the ring, kind of, because you can go through and see, like, it's so detailed, the field and the stadium inside the ring. So I thought they did a nice job. Very intricate, interesting way to put the to do the ring this year. One thing though, Mark, I was confused on. So there's only one Lombardi trophy on the ring. Now, I do understand this is the first Super Bowl for the Los Angeles Rams, but it is the second Super Bowl in the overall Rams history. So I was very confused why there was only one Lombardi trophy on the ring. Mark has muted himself.
There, sorry, jeez. The rings are something. They put some thought into it for sure.
Yeah, Mark, did you hear my question?
About the Lombardi trophy?
Yeah, I don't understand why there's only one when this is the second in franchise history between St. Louis and LA.
Well, that just shows you the type of person that's
What is this? I don't even know what that is. Fans edition? What? I don't know what that is, but Mark, you're going through the mountains. I hear that. All right. But anyways, that's the Rams Super Bowl rings. We didn't hear what Mark said. It's all right. The 49ers, they've officially given Jimmy Garoppolo permission to seek a trade. 1 year, $24.2 million left on his deal. And there's only one team. There's only one team that would take him at this point. And it's the team in division that is the only team in the NFL that you can definitively say does not really have a chance with their current quarterbacks. And they don't have it set. It's a competition. The Seattle Seahawks, the only team that will, I think, really be in contention. And I think, like a lot of people do, I think it's going to take a release for Jimmy G to find a new home.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to absorb that contract.
Yeah.
But I do think, depending on what it looks like in week 4 or week 5, there might be some interested teams of saying, okay, let's give him a shot. But it's got to be not with that price tag.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if the 49ers really do want to trade him and not, not just get nothing for him, I think we could see a situation where they pay a draft pick plus Jimmy G to get a lesser draft pick for a team to eat some of the salary as well. Or vice versa, the Niners get a higher than expected draft pick for him and they eat the salary and not the other team. Like the Baker deal.
Yeah.
Defensive tackle Eddie Goldman. He is retiring instead of playing with the Falcons. He signed with the Falcons. Took a week or whatever and said, you know what? I'm good. I agree with you, Eddie. I would be good too if the Falcons were my only option. Pup list. We have guys going on pup. Considering it is training camp, so injured guys coming into camp. Raiders, defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins, corner Trayvon Mullen, and defensive end Bilal Nichols. Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas, defensive end Marcus Davenport. Michael Thomas actually just came off the pup list, so he is good to go. Saw him out there catching balls. Looked healthy for the first time in 3 years. Falcons linebacker Deion Jones. He has a shoulder injury. Patriots, a lot of guys for them. Center David Andrews, defensive back John McMillan, defensive back Jabril Peppers, and running back James White. Jets, offensive tackle Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle George Fant, defensive end Carl Lawson, and tight end CJ Uzama. Dolphins, corner Byron Jones. Ravens, left tackle Ronnie Stanley. Outside linebacker Tyus Bowser. Corner Marcus Peters. And running backs J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, both returning from ACL tears last year. Packers, tight end Robert Tonyan. Wide receiver Christian Watson. Offensive lineman Elkton Jenkins. Kicker Mason Crosby. Defensive lineman Dean Lowry. left tackle David Bakhtiari. Chiefs defensive back Rashad Fenton, offensive tackle Lucas Niang, wide receiver Justin Ross, Titans linebacker Monty Rice, Bengals guard Alex Kappa, and running back Samaje Perine. Bills corner Tre'Davious White, all coming back from ACL tear. Colts linebacker Shaquille Leonard. I didn't wait till the Monday show to drop that one. Darius wants to be called by his middle name. That's what his family apparently calls him. So there is no more Darius Leonard, which is technically his real name. He is now Shaquille Leonard. Whatever.
All righty then.
Colts linebacker Shaquille Leonard, defensive end Tyquan Lewis, and safety Rodney McLeod. That's the pup list guys that we have for this show. Anyways, there's more to come on Monday. There's also a couple guys going on the NFI list, non-football injury. Bengals offensive tackle Lyle Collins and Bills guard Roger Seffold. Your Rams getting hit at one of their shallowest positions, I think, anyways. Rams linebacker Traven Howard. He's going to undergo core muscle surgery. Might be ready for the season, might not.
Yeah, that can be a lingering injury, so you got to take it easy with that.
Again, outside of Bobby Wagner, there's an Ernest, not linebacker spot for the Rams. In inside linebacker anyways. Outside, I don't think there's that much either, but that's just me. Kyler got paid. Cardinals, they signed quarterback Kyler Murray, 5 years, $230.5 million extension, $160 million guaranteed. He gets the second most per year quarterback average, $46.1 million. The most, obviously, Patrick Mahomes at 50, whatever. But yeah, he gets a shade over what Deshaun Watson got in terms of total money. And $160 million is not what Deshaun got because his was fully guaranteed, I believe. But yeah, I think it's worth it. I think eventually they will get that thing, that late season jitters that him and Cliff get. I think they're gonna get it worked out.
Yeah, I had a talk with somebody about this, our sports information director, and he was like, "Can you believe he's the second highest?" And I do think that when you think of it, it's kind of crazy, but in the league, in the landscape that we're in right now, the Cardinals for locking up their coach and quarterback and saying, "Hey, we're rolling with you guys to see how far you can take us."
Yeah. And there is another quarterback that other people believe should get paid as well in Baltimore. The guy I don't believe that should get paid, he's not an elite passer. That is one of the things I was talking about with Louis Riddick posting on Twitter. That's not as big of a deal as some of the other stuff he's been posting. But anyways, yeah, I think Kyler Murray definitely deserves it. He is an elite passer. He needs more experience. He needs more experience in big time games. And I think that they should switch their offense. They should move it from what they're doing now as a high-powered spread offense. They should lean a little bit more on the run. I think that they have a good 1-2 punch with James Conner and now Darrell Williams there. I don't know. I think the Cardinals could run the ball more and give Kyler a little bit more slack so he doesn't have to do everything. But like I said, elite passer. Unlike Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is not an elite passer, y'all. I don't care what anyone else says. I will stick to my thing. If the Ravens want to pay him, go ahead, Baltimore. The Steelers will beat you.
Well, my thing is they don't have anyone else as a better option. That doesn't mean
They do. What do you mean?
that he should get paid buku money, but the dude is an MVP.
What do you mean they don't have a better option? They do. We saw their backup last year when Lamar was hurt or with COVID. Tyler Huntley came in and showed that he can be an elite passer, and Tyler Huntley can run as well.
I still think your best option to win with that team is Lamar Jackson.
That's fine. Pay him, Baltimore. The Steelers will beat you for the next 10 years.
You got to figure out your own quarterback situation.
We have our guy. We got our guy for this year, and we got our guy for the next 10 years.
I hope he pans out.
The Trubisky is this year, and then we have Mr. Pickett for the next 10. We're good.
I'm not saying that they should pay Lamar, but I don't think it's Lamar or Huntley who is the answer there. They would have to start over from scratch and just have a stopgap.
I think Huntley is pretty good. And we'll see when he goes to free agency in 2024 or such. He'll get paid. I can bet you. The Bucks. This is what we're talking about. The Bucks. They have their Gronk replacement. They got him. It is Kyle Rudolph. The Bucks signed giant end Kyle Rudolph to a 1-year deal. So the Bucks tight end room is very loaded now. They have Cam Brate, who returns. They have Cade Otton, who they drafted, who I was kind of disappointed in this Kyle Rudolph signing because I was very high on Cade Otton and I was ready for him. I was thinking that Cade Otton, even though it's hard for rookie tight ends to develop quickly, I was expecting Cade Otton to have a major role in the offense and maybe even supplant Cameron Brate by the time that the season ended. So I'm kind of disappointed in the Kyle Rudolph signing in terms of Cade Otton. But it's a good veteran signing and someone Tom Brady, I think, will be able to trust. Thoughts on Kyle Rudolph, Mark?
I think it's a good signing with Gronk leaving, and they just keep picking up, veterans.
Yeah. We'll talk about another guy that the Bucks signed on Monday, who is a veteran as well. The Browns, they have their third string quarterback apparently, or what be their third string guy. I believe he will have to, or no, they released Josh Dobbs, I think, to sign Josh Rosen. I can't remember. But regardless, the Browns have signed Falcons quarterback Josh Rosen to a 1-year deal. So another new team for Josh. But I think we saw with Josh in Atlanta last year, I think we saw the wheels finally start to turn with him. And I think he got some nice experience. And I like it's Some of it was still bad. Most of it, I think, was pretty good. And we could possibly see Josh Rosen be the backup quarterback to Jacoby Brissett with the pending Deshaun Watson suspension.
Yeah. Yep.
And then lastly here, Packers. They worked out Raiders wide receiver John Brown. Packers still trying to figure out their depth at wide receiver. They need more bodies in camp right now with Christian Watson being on PUP. But that is all the NFL news we got. Let's get into the AFC North season preview. So we have the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Browns. We're going in order of first draft pick. So newcomers to the division here we see. That is first round pick Kyle Hamilton, I believe, is the picture right there for the Ravens, wearing number 14 because that's where he was drafted. Kenny Pickett there for the Steelers, biggest addition for them. The Bengals, that is Lyle Collins, I believe. I can't remember which guy I picked for them to put on here, but I believe that's Lyle Collins. And then obviously for the Browns, we couldn't put anyone other than Deshaun Watson on here. So to start off with the Ravens, re-signings, fullback Patrick Ricard, defensive lineman Calais Campbell, outside linebacker Justin Houston, and linebacker Josh Bynes. They really didn't keep a lot of guys. They lost a lot. They used the draft and a couple free signings, but for the most part, they didn't really keep a lot of their guys that were free agents. I don't know if they had many free agents either that were major contributors anyways. Free agent signings for Baltimore: running back Mike Davis, offensive tackle Morgan Moses, defensive tackle Michael Pierce, defensive lineman Brent Urban, corner Kyle Fuller, and safety Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams, the big money free agent signing for them on the back end. That's why I thought the Kyle Hamilton thing was questionable when they drafted him. I was like, why are you just signed Marcus Williams? Now you're going to draft the guy to be your third safety. It didn't make sense to me, but we'll see how it works out. They run 3 safety sets. Kyle Hamilton maybe is more of a linebacker slot guy in his rookie year. I don't know. Free agent losses or losses by trade, free agency, and retired. Running back Devontae Freeman, running back Latavius Murray, wide receiver Marquise Brown. They traded him to the Cardinals. Wide receiver Sammy Watkins. Offensive tackle Alejandro Villanueva retired. Center Bradley Bozeman. Defensive tackle Brandon Williams. Linebacker Pernell McPhee. Corner Anthony Averett. Corner Jimmy Smith. Corner Tavon Young. Defensive back Ian. And punter Sam Cook retired. So that's a lot. They like I said, they lost a lot of guys, a lot of key guys. I mean, you look at Sam Cook, the longest tenured Raven on the team at punter. I think Villanueva was a big loss at right tackle. They did fill that with the signing of Morgan Moses, though. Lost some running back depth in Freeman and Murray. Murray more of a contributor than Freeman was. Marquise Brown was a big trade away. And then Bozeman, I think, is a guy that hurts more than people think at center for Baltimore. But do you have any thoughts on losses by the Ravens before we get into their schedule? Okay. Their schedule. I did not get the chance to put up records for each of these teams. So I'm gonna do it right now. Live on the show. Week 1, they're at the Jets. That is a win. Week 2 versus the Dolphins. That is a loss. The Dolphins come into Baltimore and beat them. I'm telling you. I'm high on Miami this year. Week 3 at the Patriots. That is a win. They get a win in New England. Week 4 versus the Bills. That is a loss. So that's kind of crazy. Bro, they play the whole AFC East the first 4 weeks. That's crazy. I didn't even realize that. 2 against the AFC East. They beat the Jets, lose to the Dolphins, beat the Patriots, lose to the Bills. That's 2 home losses, 2 road wins I have for Baltimore. So that's 2-2. Week 5, they're against the Bengals. Sunday Night Football. No, loss. I think Joey B lights it up on in prime time.
I'm just looking forward to that game. I don't care who wins.
At the Giants, that's a win. Versus the Browns. So they play the Browns week 7. In my mind, I think Deshaun Watson is suspended between 8 to 12 weeks. So I'm going to give the Ravens a win against Jacoby Brissett, who I think will still be playing quarterback starting for the Browns bye week. Week 8, that's at the Bucks. That is a loss. That's a Thursday night game. Coming off. So it's a short week against a very good Bucks team, coming off a game against a division rival.
Yeah, but we know Tom Brady is not good on Thursday night games.
I don't care. It's in Tampa. At the Saints, week 9, that's a loss. I am high on the Saints this year. I like Jameis. And it's in the Superdome. So yeah, that's a loss on Monday Night Football. Going into the bye week, 4-5 going into the bye. It gets easier the second half, definitely. Versus the Panthers, I hate to say it, but that is a win. So at the Jags, that's a win. Versus the Broncos, that is a very intriguing game. Give me Russell Wilson. That is a loss. It's in Baltimore. I don't care. Give me Russell. At the Steelers, that's a loss. They lose in Pittsburgh. At the Browns, Deshaun Watson's back. That is a loss. Versus the Falcons, that's a win. Versus the Steelers, that is a win. They always seem to split with Pittsburgh. And at the Bengals, so they are sitting at 8-8 going into week 18. They are in Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati has the division locked up. They get a win. 9-8 for the Ravens, which in a loaded AFC, I do not think 9-8 gets you a playoff berth.
I don't disagree with 9-8. I could see them getting to 10 wins, though. But I don't think any more than that.
Yeah. Not again. I think the AFC East is better than people think. And to play that whole division the first 4 weeks, I think they get a break with that because the teams won't be in form by then. But I think the Patriots one, they could flip. The Patriots could win at home against the Ravens. And then you could see the Ravens going 8-9 in my book anyway. The Saints one could also flip. I think the Ravens could beat the Saints possibly. But again, it's a primetime Monday night game in New Orleans. So that's a tough atmosphere to be in. Other games to highlight, like I said, Sunday Night Football, home against the Bengals, week 5. That's a big one. At the Bucks, week 8, Thursday night, That's the thing about that Monday nighter against the Saints, though. They play the Thursday night game the week before, so they have a long layoff from Thursday night to Monday night back to back, which is good for them. But I still think they lose both those games. They're both away games. So, and then the other one, like I said, the Broncos game week 13, I think, is a close one. And of course, both Steelers games will be close as well, as they always are. Fantasy-wise, quarterback, Lamar Jackson. I mean, I kind of already ranted about Lamar that he's not worth getting paid what the Ravens are eventually going to pay him. But fantasy-wise, he has decreased in production, I think. In order to draft him, you have to be comfortable with his running game. He's not gonna. I already said he's not an elite passer. He's not gonna throw for, 4,000 yards. That's not Baltimore's offense. That's not what Lamar does. So you have to be comfortable knowing that your fantasy points for him are going to rely on his running game. If you're okay with that, draft him. That's fine. I'll draft someone else, but I'm not drafting him anyways. He goes way too high in my book. Running backs, J.K. Dobbins, Edwards, Mike Davis. I'm not sure how much Mike Davis is going to get. I think he will get a lot early on in the season because they're going to work J.K. and Gus back slowly. J.K. might even miss the first couple of weeks of the season. I love J.K. though. The offense is great for Baltimore running backs if they commit to one. That's the biggest issue with Baltimore is you're looking for them to push it over the edge and commit to one guy. And I'm hoping that guy's going to be J.K. because I traded a first-round pick for him. Last year, before he got injured, I traded a first-round pick and a second-round pick for him this year, hoping that he's the guy that I think he is. So I got a lot riding on J.K. Dobbins this year, Mark.
That's ballsy.
Yeah. I mean, the guy offered it this year for a first and a second, and I was like, that's fine. It was a first and second in next year's draft because we already had our draft, our Dynasty League draft. Wide receivers, Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay, James Prochet the second. Bateman's the only guy you're going to draft. He's your wide receiver one, going to get the most of the target share. I would not touch. I wouldn't even roster anyone else on Baltimore at the wide out position. Not worth it. Doesn't get enough throws. And Duvernay is an interesting prospect anyways because he was their key return guy. He was their return specialist last year. And now he's expected to magically turn into their second best wide receiver. I can't see it. And Prochet was a guy when they drafted him, everyone's like, "Oh, bro, he's the gem. He's your deep sleeper." He hasn't done anything in 2 seasons. Tight end, Mark Andrews. Great pick. I have him as my he is a keeper of mine, and he was my keeper league. What is happening with your mic, Mark?
I don't know. What is it?
That was weird. Whenever I talk, like it sounds weird. I don't know. I don't know if it's feedback. I don't know what's happening. But anyways,
it's better now.
Yeah. But tight end Mark Andrews, fantasy, he's your top 3 option. With Kelsey and Kittle. Mark Andrews is right with them. Lamar Jackson, that's a guy he loves to throw to, and he's very comfortable with. He's going to score you at least 8 touchdowns on the season. Probably going to get close to 1,000 yards. With their running offense, though, it's tough to extrapolate his yardage production. So you're going to rely on touchdowns a lot with him, but he's going to get at least 750, 800 yards minimum. Because he's their number one option in the offense. So, yeah, definitely Mark Andrews. Like I said, I have him as my keeper in two of my keeper leagues because it's just the tight end position is so volatile. It's tough to predict what anyone's going to do production-wise outside of Kelsey, Kittle, and Andrews. And the defense, it's not – I don't know. I probably am staying away from Baltimore's defense in fantasy. It's not like they're not the old Baltimore defense. When you had the guys back in the day with Lewis and Reed and those kind of guys, that's when you would see the Baltimore offense being drafted or Baltimore defense being drafted where the Steelers defense gets drafted every year now. Their pass rush is just not scary to me. With Bowser, Owe is a guy I like because he's a Penn Stater. Had a nice rookie year last year. Has to back it up this year. There's a issue. Josh Bynes is meh. Patrick Queen's a stud. Calais Campbell's old though now, man. He is he's getting up there. So
he is.
Not sure how much he has left in the tank. Michael Pierce is a guy that's in his second stint with Baltimore after being with the Vikings for a couple seasons. And their secondary is their strength. Peters, Humphrey, Armour Davis, Seymour. And then they have Hamilton, Marcus Williams, Chuck Clark, Brandon Stevens. The safety position is loaded for them. But yeah, secondary is where you're going to get your value. That's not where you score points except for interceptions. So I don't like it. I think you're fine with not drafting the Ravens defense. I have them probably middle of the pack, 14th, 15th, somewhere around there. I just think their front seven is not that solid. And I mean, special teams wise, Duvernay is your returner. He was one of the best kick returners in the NFL. Not sure how much return time he's going to be your number 2 receiver. So their backup returner is Rosen. Kick returner backup is Tylan Wallace. I don't like it there. That keeps them down at 15, 14. Justin Tucker, though. I feel like I always forget to put kickers on the fantasy value list. Justin Tucker, though, obviously, take him. Take him early. I mean, I always do. I take Tucker usually early unless someone beats me to it. He's guaranteed fantasy points. He's not consistent. But he's the highest scoring player in NFL history or whatever. I mean, dude, he's the best kicker in NFL history. I'll say it right now. Take him though. Take him early. Take him as the first kicker off the board. He's worth it. And rookies. Do we have any? We do have 3 rookies to talk about for fantasy wise for the Ravens. Tight ends, Charlie Kolar and Isaiah Likely, and running back Tyler Beatty. Yeah, you're not drafting any of these guys. We said it, or I said it at least. I think some of y'all agreed with me when we had the AFC North draft recap in our 8th round series. It was weird. The fact that they drafted not 1, but 2 tight ends, considering they have one of the best tight ends in the NFL already, and they paid Nick Boyle is their best blocking tight end that they have. They paid him a couple of seasons ago. So I don't need, I guess they're going to keep 4 tight ends, which is abnormal. And run 2 tight end sets a lot. They're going to run 12 personnel, probably more than any other team in the league. But I don't see the fantasy value. And dynasty wise, I don't see it either because you don't know which guy is going to, produce in the future between Kolar and Likely. So I wouldn't even touch him in dynasty. And Tyler Beatty might not even make the team because they don't have him listed in the top 4 running backs right now because the top 3 are set. Dobbins, Edwards, Davis, and Hill they have as Justice Hill they have as 4th. So I don't even know if Tyler Beatty makes the team. Any closing thoughts on the Ravens before we move to the Steelers, Mark?
Nope.
Okay. It is time for the best team in the division. The team with the most Super Bowls in the division. Yes, I am biased. Steelers. Steelers, though, re-signings. I loved their offseason. They re-signed offensive tackle Chukwuma Okorafor. Corner Akello Witherspoon, I think, was a massive re-signing for them. And they also re-signed safety Terrell Edmonds and safety Miles Killebrew, who is one of the best special teamers in the league. Yes, Miles Killebrew blocked a punt last year against the Ravens, I think it was. Scored a touchdown. Free agent signings / trade acquisitions. They didn't trade for anyone. I don't know. I didn't delete that part out. But free agent signings, though, quarterback Mitch Trubisky, guard James Daniels, offensive lineman Mason Cole, defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi, linebacker Miles Jack, corner Levi Wallace, safety DeMonte KZ, and kick returner Gunnar Olszewski. I love it, dude. I mean, like I said, Mitch Trubisky is going to be the guy this year. If Pickett doesn't beat him out in camp, which it doesn't sound like that's going to happen right now. So Mitch Trubisky is going to be the guy for, at the very least, I think the first half of the season. If it goes well, he'll play the rest of the season. If it doesn't, we'll see Kenny Pickett. But I think it goes fine. People have been touting the perfect system match between Trubisky and offensive coordinator Matt Canada. So I think it's fine. I love it. And the fact, the thing that people don't remember. Now, I know wins. A lot of people don't like wins as a quarterback stat. But he's in the same type of situation that he was in Chicago, where he had a winning record and went to the playoffs. Same type of situation. Great defense. Okay offense. I think that he can win enough. Really like the James Daniels, Mason Cole signings. They needed to get help on the interior offensive line. That was a big issue for them last year. So I think they're gonna be nice there with Daniels and Cole. They have both of them at starters. Daniels at right guard, Cole at center. Ogunjobi was a nice signing. We'll see what he does. Miles Jack, I think he's a forgotten guy around the league. Second year in a row, they got a former Jags linebacker. So we'll see how that works out. Levi Wallace, man, I think that was a great signing. Going to man the other side opposite of Akello Witherspoon there in Pittsburgh. So like that. And Olszewski, I think Olszewski was an under the radar signing. He was a great returner for the Patriots last year and the last couple of seasons. So we'll see what he does. Losses. There's some big ones in here, but I think they're okay. Quarterback Ben Roethlisberger retired. wide receiver Ray McLeod, wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver James Washington, tight end Eric Ebron, offensive tackle Zach Banner, guard Trey Turner, defensive end Stephon Tuitt retired, linebacker Joe Schobert, and corner Joe Hayden. I would like to see them bring back Joe Hayden. I think he was very good for them. He's a free agent still, so I'm hoping that they can re-sign him. Most of the other guys have signed elsewhere so far. A couple of them have not, but a lot of them, though, I don't think they really matter to what the Steelers. I don't think they were major losses. Not like the Ravens. The Ravens, I thought, lost some major pieces. But I don't think a lot of the guys that the Steelers lost were major hits to their team's success. Thoughts on re-signings, free agency, or losses before we move to the schedule?
I don't know. I actually think the Steelers are looking at having the most regression in this division. If their system, if you can plug in place and keep your system in place, that's great. But I think they have the biggest red flag, in my opinion.
All right, the schedule. At the Bengals, week 1. That is a loss. Versus the Patriots, week 2. That's a tough one. But I think because it's in Pittsburgh, they get a win. Mac Jones does not do well against the blitz. So, see. 3, that's a Thursday night in Cleveland. But it's going to be Jacoby Brissett. That's a win. That's a win. 1 versus the Jets. That's a win. At the is a loss versus that is a loss. At the Dolphins, Sunday night football, that is a loss. And then they're Pennsylvania, that is a loss. So I have them 3-5 going into the bye week 9, right? So does that mean Kenny Pickett starts out of the bye? I don't think so. 3-5 is tough to sit, to keep it on the bench, but I think it's fine. Even if they win one of those other games, like the Dolphins games, I think could possibly they could get that one to get the 4-4. I think if he's 4-4, I think you keep him in, right?
Yeah.
But 3-5, we're okay. We're okay. 3-5 versus the Saints. It's in Pittsburgh. That's a win. Versus the Bengals, Sunday night football, they get a win. It's in Pittsburgh again. They split with Cincinnati. At the Colts, that's a Monday night game. That's a loss. At the Falcons, that's a win. Versus the Ravens, that is a win. At the Panthers, that is a win. So they are 8-6 right now. Versus the Raiders, that's a Saturday night game. That is going to be a loss. I like the Raiders and Derek Carr to come into Pittsburgh and beat them. At the Ravens, that is a loss. Just like the Ravens, they are 8-8 going into week 18. Versus Browns, that is a win. Browns will have a wild card locked up, possibly. 9-8, just like the Ravens. Mike Tomlin doesn't do losing seasons, so 9-8 is your minimum for the Steelers.
I can roll with that.
I said about it before on Twitter and on here when we had our futures, our NFL futures on our FAA bets page on Twitter. You should be hammering absolute max 10 unit max whale play on the over and wins 7.5, whatever. Mike Tomlin doesn't lose. He doesn't do losing seasons. So
and I like him as a coach, but it's all going to be about the offensive line, and then what can you do behind J.J. Watt? Those are going to be the two biggest keys. I don't care TJ. Sorry, I don't care who's under center. It's how much protection is he getting?
Yeah, and I think Najee's going to be better in year 2. I think the offensive line is going to be better. Like I said, James Daniels and the Mason Cole signings, I think, were very good. Nice piece. Because the tackles are so with Chuck Okorafor and Dan Moore. The left side is tough. Dan Moore and Kevin Dotson, pretty young guys. But I think the right side's pretty good. And they have some other dudes that can play. So we'll see. I think they're improved anyways. They're not going to be the best offensive line in the league, but I think they're improved. They have some road graders now in the inside, though. I think will give Najee some more room. A lot more than he had last year. Fantasy-wise, quarterback, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. So I'm not drafting Mitch Trubisky. Now, if I don't think he's going to get drafted in most leagues, but if you have a bench spot and you need a backup quarterback after the draft, if you didn't draft the backup during the draft, I think he's a fine option. He's a flyer. Why not? From the stuff that I've been hearing out of Pittsburgh, and I said it before, he's a perfect system for what Matt Canada wants to do. A mobile quarterback that has an arm and can throw the deep ball. So it's a flyer, but personally, I'm not drafting.
I'm a big proponent of young quarterbacks learning. I mean, you see people that had time, whether it was just a year with Patrick or a few years with Aaron Rodgers. I say play him from the Steelers standpoint, which then gives fantasy owners the option to draft him because he's going to get snaps.
Let's talk about Trubisky at first.
Why do I still have that signal?
I'll talk about Pickett right now, though. But yeah, Kenny Pickett I drafted him in my one dynasty league. Actually, I think I drafted him in both my dynasty leagues. Look, this guy is going to light it up. I'm telling you right now, with what the Steelers have at the skill positions, Najee Harris at running back, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool at wide receiver, Pat Freiermuth at tight end. They have the skill guys set for the next 5 years, or whatever. At least the next 3 years. They got to re-sign Deontay, and they're great at drafting wide receivers. They have Pickens too, right? So I think the skill positions are set. Like you said, the offensive line needs to improve. But Kenny Pickett is set up very nicely. And you should most definitely, if you need a quarterback on your dynasty team for the future, you should be drafting Kenny Pickett. Definitely. He should be the number one rookie drafted at the quarterback position.
I'm a Kenny Pickett fan. You know that. I think he can ball, and I think he's going to a great system as long as he gets protection.
Yeah, which is something I think you'll see the Steelers do next draft. Next draft is going to be, you're going to look for tackles from the Steelers, offensive tackles, and you're going to look for defensive ends to replace Stephon Tuitt and eventually Cam Hayward. Running back Najee Harris. Now, it's interesting. Najee's a situation where offensive line was not good last year. His yards per carry was not that great. I believe it was sub 4. But
he's got talent. He's got talent.
I'm excited for him this year. He proved last year that he could catch the ball as well. Very good receiver out of the backfield, which I think will help Mitch Trubisky. We're going to see. Najee said if it takes 500 carries to win, he'll do it. So I think it's a guy that is driven to win. And I think you're going to see Najee go in the 3rd round probably of drafts. Because people are skeptical about what the offense is going to look like. So, and he did have the most touches, maybe not carries, most touches though, I think. But he should take a little bit of load off with increased quarterback play. Or improved quarterback play, I should say. Wide receivers, you're looking at Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. We'll talk about the rookies in a second. But, bro, Deontay is a baller. He is a number 1 receiver, and I'm praying that the Steelers pay him like one because they have been reluctant to pay wide receivers in the past. See Antonio Brown, see Juju Smith-Schuster. My contract knowledge does not go back to the guys I grew up with in Santonio Holmes and Antoine Randall, Hines Ward. I don't know. I don't know if the Steelers paid them or not. I can't remember. They paid Hines because he stayed the Steeler. But yeah, I'm hoping the Steelers pay him, and I think you'll see it's a contract year. We know what happens in contract years. People ball out. So I think you'll see Deontay have a fantastic season. Chase Claypool has something to prove too. His production decreased a lot last year. And it has, I think, decreased both years since his rookie season in 2020. So he has a lot to prove too. I think they'll be fine as long as the quarterbacks can get on the ball. But yeah, Deontay is a guy you should be drafting. I mean, 3rd, 4th round. I think that highly of him. I don't know what his ADP is. That's Logan's thing. Logan's the ADP guy. Tight end Pat Freiermuth. Oh my God, dude. I was right. I absolutely love that I was right about him last year. I told everyone, I was like, bro, look at this dude. I knew coming from Penn State, I knew what he was. Baby Gronk. I mean, he had a fantastic rookie season. Instantly clicked with Ben Roethlisberger. They finally gave him the starting role like quarter way through the season, and he flourished. I don't remember how many touchdowns he scored, but I think it was somewhere 6 to 8 last year. Would think he's going to probably be on that pace again this year. And look, he's not a top tight end yet, but I think he is a guy that you can be comfortable with starting in a 12-man league. So, yeah, love Pat Freiermuth. You're going to be able to get him value. You can probably get Freiermuth. I don't know, when do tight ends, the mid-range tight ends start going? You can probably get Freiermuth, I would say, maybe, I don't know, round 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there. Which I think is great value, like I said. And finally, the Steelers defense. Now, look, I don't think they're going to be the number 1 defense like I have thought in the past. But they do still have the defensive player of the year in TJ Watt. Jack coming in to replace Joe Schobert at linebacker. Devin Bush has something to prove. The Steelers declined his 5th-year option, I believe. So he is playing for a contract. Cameron Hayward is still a monster in his 30s. They get a big boost to their run defense because they were one of the worst run defenses in the NFL last year. But they get Tyson Alualu back at nose, which is big. He is old as well. He is 34, I think. But he has been a godsend for their defense at nose ever since he signed there. So getting him back is big. I think Larry Ogunjobi is a nice piece to fill in for the retired Stephon Tuitt at defensive end opposite Cam Hayward. And I think Alex Highsmith continues his progression and development. The secondary, I think, is going to be all right. Levi Wallace comes in, Cam Sutton, Ahkello Witherspoon. They have Terrell Edmonds and Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the best safeties in the NFL in the secondary. Chris Boswell at kicker, love him. Special teams, Gunnar Olszewski, returner, love it. I think you should draft them relatively early for a defense. I think they're a top 10 at the very worst. Mark, your thoughts? Steelers defense. You don't have any thoughts on the Steelers defense?
Oh, there you are. No, I mean, I guess the people that you really did lose and, were aging out or players were ready to step up. So they always play tough defense. That division is known for physicality, and it'll continue to be that way.
And then in terms of kicker, Chris Boswell,
he's pretty good.
He's all right.
He's
not going to score you a ton of, but he's a guy that you can get later on if you wait on a kicker. Like I know a lot of my friends do. They don't get the top kicker, Justin Tucker or whoever, but they wait. And you can get Chris Boswell. He'll do all right for you. He'll get you enough points. I don't know what his fantasy stats are in terms of rankings the last couple of seasons, but he's pretty consistent. So, if you need a guy, or maybe even if you're lucky and, your kicker's on a bye and Chris Boswell happens to be available, I think he's a solid plug and play guy, a bye week option. All right, now the fun part, rookies. So, wide receiver George Pickens, Calvin Austin III. Look, we know George. That was a steal. The Steelers got a steal at 52nd overall. And I think he might be pissed off that he wasn't a first rounder in his second round. I don't know if that's the type of guy George is, if he holds a grudge like that. But this guy's a dog. Literally.
I would say he carries a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he did get suspended for swinging out on a kid in a college football game. So I think he's probably upset where he went. He's just got to prove that he can stay healthy.
Yeah. And I think, it's nice that he's not coming in expected to be the guy. I think that's kind of what the issue was early on at Georgia. He was like expected to be the dude. And like you said, got into a little bit of trouble his freshman season. But I like that he's not going to be the guy. He's not expected to be the dude. but I think it's a nice option um, for the Steelers that might be a reason why they don't pay Deontay Johnson, because they have George Pickens. Now they have to wait and see what George does on the field in actual regular season games. But I think it's a good option. Definitely get him in Dynasty. I think the Pickett to Pickens connection could be nice in the future. So if you get both of them, I mean, you got a stack for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin's interesting. You're not gonna draft him in redraft or dynasty leagues. But I do like Calvin Austin to be one of the Steelers returners, specifically punts. He was very good punt returner at Memphis. Maybe he produces some on offense. I'm not sure. But he was a later pick, so I like him. Maybe not as a receiver, but definitely you're not touching him in fantasy. Okay. Final thoughts on the Steelers before we move on.
No.
Bengals, the reigning AFC champion. Signing quarterback Brandon Allen, defensive tackle BJ Hill, corner Eli Apple. That was an interesting one. Corner Trey Flowers, safety Jesse Bates III on the franchise tag, long snapper Clark Harris, and punter Kevin Huber. Free agency, they didn't do much. Tight end Hayden Hurst, offensive tackle Lyle Collins, guard Alex Kappa, and offensive lineman Ted Karras. So those were the ones that everyone was talking about this offseason. Right tackle, you got Lyle Collins. You got your guard to fill in inside, Alex Kappa. You got your center and Ted Karras. So 3 new starters on the offensive line and a fill-in for CJ Uzomah. Hayden Hurst comes over, from Atlanta. Didn't do that well in Atlanta. Got supplanted by the first-round pick, Kyle Pitts, last year. So I like Hayden Hurst this year, though. I do.
Yeah, with the skill players that the Bengals have, I mean, he should be getting some open looks and coverage.
Yeah, I actually just drafted him in my DraftKings Best Ball League that I'm doing. So we'll see. I'm hoping he produces for me there. I mean, I have Dallas Goedert at the tight end position as well. So, it's best ball. So we'll see if Hayden Hurst maybe supplants Dallas Goedert a couple weeks, or, maybe both of them get on. There are some flex positions that are in that league. Losses: wide receiver Alden Tate, tight end CJ Uzomah, offensive tackle Riley Reif, guard Quentin Spain, center Trey Hopkins. Those are the 3 guys that their 3 free agency signings are replacing. Defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi, who we talked about, corner Vernon Hargraves III, and corner Trey Waynes. So it was interesting that they re-signed Eli Apple, which was the butt of everyone's jokes after the Super Bowl. But they didn't re-sign Trey Waynes. Interesting maneuvers there by Cincinnati. But, yeah, I mean, relatively quiet offseason for Cincy. Thoughts on their transaction?
I mean, I think you're coming out of the Super Bowl. Your main, obviously, you and I both know, is protecting your quarterback that led you to the Super Bowl. But you're right on the cusp. I mean, the ball bounces maybe 1 or 2 different ways, and you win the whole thing. One would think that they would go out and be aggressive, but they must believe in what they have. Yeah. I hope it doesn't become one of those. I always use this example, but the Carolina Panthers were on the cusp of, they got smacked around by the Broncos, but you're in the Super Bowl and then they went they trended the opposite direction, and I don't think the Bengals will be that drastic in the opposite direction. But if you roll out the same team, you never know if it's going to have the same result or not.
Right. Schedule. So week 1 versus the Steelers, that is a win. Week 2 at the Cowboys. That's an interesting game.
Tough one.
I don't know what I want to do. I think I'm going to give them an L.
I would go with that.
It's in Dallas. It's early on. So, yeah, I'm going to give the Bengals an L on that one. At the Jets, that is a win. Versus the Dolphins, that's a Thursday night game. That is a win. At the Ravens, that's a Sunday night game. That is a win. So they're 4-1. That's a quick start. At the Saints upset them in the Superdome. That's a 4-2. Jameis Winston balls out against the secondary of the Bengals. Versus the Falcons, that's a win. At the Browns, Monday nights, that's week 8. I still think, like I said, I think 8 to 12 weeks is what is going to come back with Deshaun. So you're going to have Jacoby Brissett still. So that's a win for Cincy. 6-2. Panthers. I hate that I keep giving the AFC North wins against the Panthers, but that's a win. 7-2 into the bye. Bye week, they come out at the Steelers Sunday night. That's a loss. It's a tough one for Joey B on the road. At the Titans. So this is their second half is very tough. At the Titans. It's a rematch. I'm gonna give the Titans the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna give Ryan Tannehill the win that he should have had in the playoffs. After the Titans sacked Joe Burrow playoff record 9 times and still lost.
So 7 or 8-3?
7-4.
7-4.
Versus the Chiefs.
Ooh.
I mean, you're getting
no Tyreek Hill. No Tyreek Hill this year.
Right. So, yeah, let's give them a win. It's in Cincinnati this time. They beat them in Arrowhead, but we'll give the Bengals another win against Kansas City in Cincinnati. So you're 8-4. Versus the Browns. Deshaun is back. Let's give Deshaun the win. 8-5. At the Bucks. I don't even know at this point. I feel like the whole division is going to end up 9-8.
Well, I was about to say that. We can't have everybody in the division 9-8.
They can, though.
No.
At the Bucks. That is a loss. They beat the Patriots in New England. So you're 9-6. Versus the Buffalo Bills. Monday Night Football, week 17. The last Monday nighter. I don't think they do a Monday night on the week 18. Monday Night Football, though, in Cincinnati against the Buffalo Bills. Possible AFC championship matchup. Do they get the win or not?
Yes. Someone's got to be better than 9-8.
Yes, they do get the win. And then they lose to the Ravens week 18 in Cincinnati because they'll have the division locked. There you go, Mark. 10-7. Bro, the second half is brutal. At the Steelers, at the Steelers Sunday night, at the Titans, home against the Chiefs and Browns, Then you go back to back at the Bucks, at the Patriots, and then you finish up home against the Bills on Monday night and home against the Ravens.
I don't know. There might be a new division winner with that second half schedule.
Yeah, I mean they started off 4-1. They have a nice first half. They have to do well in the first half to set up the second half.
They got to stay healthy, and they have to have a great start to the season in order to be where they need to be, like to match last year, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's nice that they get a week 10 bye, though. That's nice. That's literally breaking your season in half, 9-9.
Yep.
Or 9-8, whatever. Fantasy quarterback Joe Burrow. Yep.
He's all right. He's okay.
He's gonna get drafted. I don't draft quarterbacks that high usually, unless it's Josh Allen. But yeah, Joe Burrow, he's a top 5 fantasy quarterback. And what's crazy about Joe, because usually the top guys in fantasy quarterback wise are the guys that run and throw. That's why Josh Allen has been the number 1 scoring fantasy quarterback the last 2 years. But Joe Burrow is a top 5 fantasy quarterback because they throw so much and because he throws for freaking 4,000 yards.
He slings it.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is going to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year. You can draft him. Like I said, I'm not. I like waiting a little bit on my quarterbacks, but Burrow is probably going to end up going in the 3rd round. Running backs. Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine. Samaje is on PUP right now. Joe Mixon, he's another guy I drafted in one of my best ball leagues. Yeah, Joe Mixon's a guy that has produced. He has to stay on the field, which he did last year, I believe, for the majority. I don't think he missed any. If some, he missed some or any, I don't know. I don't remember. Let's see his splits or his game log, whatever. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, he didn't miss a game. He missed 1 game. I think I counted 16 regular season. So yeah, he missed 1 game. That was it. But yeah, Joe Mixon's a guy that's going to produce. He's going to get you 1,000 yards plus. And he's a guy that can get you receiving yards as well for your PPR stats. Nice. You can get as a 2nd tier running back in the maybe 4th or 5th round. Wide receivers. Are you ready? Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Yeah. Chase is a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
He's a guy that more than likely should be going in your 1st round, depending on how many teams you have in your league. But yeah, if he doesn't, he's going to go in the 2nd round.
You remember when we were worried about him dropping the passes in the preseason?
I didn't draft him in my dynasty leagues because of that, Mark. But yeah, he's a guy going to go very, very high and should produce nicely for you. T. Higgins can produce nicely for you too as a wide receiver 2 or 3 on your team. T. Higgins is a guy that's going to go more than likely later. I would say you can get T. Higgins probably somewhere between the 7th and 10th rounds. He's a guy that, like I said, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 numbers for a fantasy team there. And then Tyler Boyd. It was interesting. Tyler Boyd can also contribute. The Bengals are one of the few, if maybe not the only one, that can get you 3 fantasy startable receivers. Tyler Boyd is a guy that I still think can produce 800 yards receiving and maybe 6 touchdowns for you, which is probably right around what you're looking for a wide receiver 3 on fantasy.
Yeah.
And then tight end Hayden Hurst. We already talked about him, dude. I think he's gonna have his best season of his career this year in Cincinnati with their high-powered offense. If he doesn't, then you're looking at Drew Sample as their tight end. So, but I believe in Hayden Hurst. I think he's gonna have a nice year. He's one of my fantasy sleepers, especially at the tight end position. Like I said before with Mark Andrews, there's the 3, and then it's like a mismatch of different guys. So you never know who's going to do it. I think Hayden Hurst is a very good tight end option this year, and you can get him very late, I think, anyways. Probably in my head, lucky number 13. Round 13 is where you can get Hayden Hurst. I'm probably lowballing him, though. Defense-wise, they should be all right. I think they're going to be a top half of the league. Their pass rush is pretty good. Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, Cam Sample, Joseph Osai, DJ Reader, BJ Hill. Like the linebackers, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, Akeem Davis-Gaither. The secondary is so-so with Apple returning, the Wouzier. They have Von Bell, Bates on the franchise tag. They did draft Tyson Anderson at safety. Dax Hill, they have slotted at corner right now. Mike Hilton is one of the best, if not the best, slot corner in the league. And then Cam Taylor-Britt is another rookie that they drafted. Yeah, like I said, top 15 defense. You're probably not going to rely on them too much, but I think they're a plug-and-play bye-week option. No rookies to talk about. They didn't draft anyone of note at these skill positions. Kwame Lassiter is an interesting option at wide receiver if he makes the team as an undrafted rookie. Ready to go to the Browns?
Browns time.
Browns re-signings, tight end David Njoku, offensive tackle Chris Hubbard, defensive end Jadeveon Clowney, linebacker Anthony Walker, safety Ronnie Harrison, and kicker Chase McLaughlin. Free agent signings, trade acquisitions. The Browns were, if not the most, one of the most, if not the most active franchise in the offseason in free agency and trades. So they traded for quarterback Deshaun Watson. They signed quarterbacks Jacoby Brissett and Josh Rosen. Traded for wide receiver Amari Cooper. They also signed wide receiver Jakeem Grant. Signed guard Ethan Pochik. Defensive end Stephen Weatherly. They traded for defensive end Chase Winovich. And they signed defensive tackle Taven Bryan and punter Corey Bjorquez from Green Bay. Losses. They traded away quarterbacks Case Keenum and Baker Mayfield. They also lost quarterback Nick Mullins, wide receiver Rashard Higgins, wide receiver Jarvis Landry, tight end Austin Hooper, center J.C. Treader, defensive end Takaris McKinley, defensive tackle Malik Jackson, line corner Troy Hill. Safety. They also lost safety MJ Stewart and punter Dustin Colquitt. So a lot of in, a lot of out for the Browns, especially at quarterback. 3 in, 3 out. But yeah, like I said, they are probably the team that revamped their roster the most this offseason.
Yeah, certainly so. And they're rolling the dice on one of the most important positions.
Yeah.
I mean, he's eventually going to play some football, you would think, whether that's halfway through this season or it's next year.
Right, that's the issue. He hasn't played in what, 2 years?
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at your skill positions and you're bringing in some new receivers. You know, you got a really nice young defensive end, and you're banking on now getting the Deshaun Watson that was electrifying his first few years, and thinking that, you know, you're going to compete with Cincinnati and the rest of the division.
Yeah. I do like Amari Cooper. Think that's going to be an underrated trade acquisition, especially for what they gave away. Was
Nothing.
Pennies. Yeah. Okay. Schedule for the Cleveland Browns at the Panthers week 1. Baker gets them. No, I'm just kidding. I do think the Panthers win week 1 though. I do. It's in Carolina. It's in Carolina. And the Panthers defense last year was the number 1 team in defensive DVOA.
I like Baker. His commercials are hilarious. I hope he wins.
So that's 0-1 for Jacoby Brissett. The Jets. I'm sorry, Chris, but the Jets are not good enough yet, even against Jacoby Brissett. The Browns win. Week 3. That's home against the Steelers. Thursday night football. That is a loss. At the Falcons, week 2, that's a win. Versus the Chargers, that's an L. Versus the Patriots, L. At the Ravens, L.
It's a tough stretch.
Versus the Bengals on Monday Night Football. That is a L. So the Browns going into their week 9 bye. I have them at 2-6. The sky is falling in Cleveland. And who else but Superman comes in to save them in a number 4 orange jersey? At the Dolphins, week 10, Deshaun is back. Win. At the Bills, week 11, that's a loss. I still think they're not good enough to beat the Bills. Versus the Buccaneers. Deshaun gets them in Cleveland. They are 4-7. At the Texans, he goes, returns to Houston, and beats them. At the Bengals, week 14, that is a win. They are 6-7. They're in the hunt now. 6-7. Versus the Ravens, they get them back. Week 15, that's a win. 7-7. Versus the Saints, Jameis, I like Jameis. At the Commanders, that's a win. At the Steelers, that's and did I say for the Steelers a win or a loss for the Steelers week 18? I think I said a loss. Guess what, Mark? They're 9-8.
If they start out 2-7, they will not finish 9-8.
No, 2-6. 2-6.
They won't finish 9-8.
Hey, man, what the wonders of a quarterback does.
Yes, but at that time, you're down. You're probably going to get a draft pick. It just wouldn't happen.
So I have the division finishing like this. Bengals win at 10-7. Steelers at 9-8. Ravens at 9-8. Browns at 9-8.
No way. No way. One of them is going to get 6 or 7 wins. One of the teams is going to get 6 or 7 wins.
The most likely would be Cleveland, with a lengthy Deshaun suspension. Because, yeah, if it's – the thing is, I said 8 to 12. So if it's on the back end and it's 12 games, right? That would take out probably both the Dolphins and the Bucs wins. So that would drop them to 7 and 10.
Now, we've seen this in other divisions. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've seen the Seahawks and Rams and Cardinals and 49ers be about almost the same records in the last week as for the division. But one of the teams, I could see 3 of them being around the same, but one person in that division is going to have 6 or 7 wins.
Cleveland will be that team if it happens. Okay, fantasy-wise, Deshaun Watson.
Don't touch him until you know.
Right, and did I take him in my best ball league or not? I don't think I think he's still on my queue right now. I have been I've been waiting to draft him in my best ball league because it's like, why not, right? Why not if he's just sitting there? And I think I did, actually. I did draft. No, I didn't. Never mind. I drafted Jameis instead. Yeah, Deshaun is not there. He is gone. When did he get drafted? I don't even know. I think he's gone anyways. Maybe not. Maybe I can still get him. But I did draft D-Hop. Let me see if let me see if Watson's still available. I don't know where he's at. Show drafted players. Here we go. Deshaun. Oh, he was drafted. I don't know when he was drafted. Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, Deshaun, redraft leagues, you're not touching him. He's already on someone's team in Dynasty. So, yeah, no one's drafting Deshaun. I still don't know when he was drafted. It shows him, but like, when was he drafted? It says rank 178th, but that doesn't help me. Oh, actually, it kind of does. I can see his rank on here on the drafted list. But Jacoby Brissett, let's talk about his fantasy value. Oh, he was drafted 165th overall in the 14th round, my best ball league. There you go. But anyways, Jacoby Brissett's fantasy value. What do we think?
Well, he's been in the league. He started before, and he's been serviceable.
Yeah. Don't draft him. Don't draft him. He's not going to get you enough points to warrant a starting quarterback in fantasy. Yeah, don't draft him. You can have him as your backup, possibly. If you're dumb enough to draft Deshaun, draft Jacoby, get the handcuff. Someone will do that. I already know. There are some people out there that will do that. But anyways, I'm not drafting. I'm not touching it. Either of them in regular redraft leagues. Running back though, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, love him. Chubb's gonna be the guy that you want because Jacoby Brissett, they're gonna lean on Chubb and Hunt. They'll probably use a lot of 21 personnel, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. I think, anyways, in Kevin Stefanski's offense. They're going to use a lot of both on the field. So I think there's value. Definitely Chubb is going to be – I don't think he's going to be a first-round pick, but second round, that's where you're going to get him. That's his sweet spot there. Kareem Hunt, I love Kareem Hunt, dude. He has been productive. It's kind of crazy that you can have two running backs productive in the same system. But Hunt has been productive in his own right. He's been a PPR monster out of the backfield.
Yeah.
So love him. You can probably – people tend to overdraft Kareem Hunt. So I would say Kareem Hunt probably is going to end up going in the fifth to seventh rounds. Maybe even higher. I don't know. I would say fifth is like probably the minimum where I would consider him. And then wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I really like Amari. Now, like we said, his fantasy value is going to be limited, which could be reset at quarterback. But yeah, I like Amari. If you can get him a little bit later than people think, if you can get Amari in the seventh round, I mean, that's probably way late. But that's where I would probably start considering him with the limitations of Jacoby Brissett. And then Peoples-Jones, I don't really think Peoples-Jones has much value without Deshaun Watson. I just don't think Brissett is going to produce enough offense to warrant to have two productive fantasy wide receivers. I don't see it.
That makes sense.
And then tight end, I have two listed. David Njoku, Harrison Bryant. I don't really like either. I was shocked when Cleveland franchised and then signed Njoku to a massive extension. He's a first round pick that hasn't produced at a first round level. I mean, it was just mind boggling when they did that. So they're stuck with him now. And their thought was, well, we got Deshaun now. So, Njoku should produce. Well, he hasn't in 4 years. So will Deshaun really make that much of a difference? I don't think so. I'm not touching either of them. The defense is interesting. Obviously, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney was a godsend for Myles Garrett. Really opened things up on the other side for him. So it was good for Garrett to get Clowney back. They added Winovich and Weatherly behind them, as well as Isaiah Thomas. The interior is nice. Jordan Elliott, Taven Bryan, Perry and Winfrey, Tommy Togiai. So I think their front four is pretty good. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, JOK, Anthony Walker, they re-signed. Sione Takitaki is a little bit underrated, I think. I think they're okay. Not the greatest, but Anthony Walker is pretty much a tackling machine. And then the secondary is very good. Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Martin Emerson, who they drafted with their first pick this year, and Greedy Williams. They also have A.J. Green there at corner. Delpit, John Johnson at safety, Ronnie Harrison they re-signed, and their fourth safety, our boy Richard LeCount. So I think the Browns are going to be good on defense. I think they will help Brissett win some games. I am going to go out on a limb and say that the Cleveland Browns defense will be a top 10 fantasy defense this year. Draft them.
They have pieces, that's for sure. Question is how much time are they going to spend on the field? Is the offense going to be able to move the ball?
Correct. And I think what makes them a top 10 I think solidifies their position in the top 10, right? Because it isn't just defense, it's D/ST, special teams. And they got a great returner in free agency. Jakeem Grant, one of the best returners in the league.
You're right.
Especially at punt returns. So he is going to, they have him slotted as both the punt and kick returner. I think he'll just do punts. I don't think I've ever seen Jakeem Grant return a kick. He probably has, but I think he's a lot better on punt returns than he is kicks. So I think he's going to be their main punt returner. I think that gives them a leg up in the special teams. Like I said, solidifies their position in the top 10. Kicker. Well, I guess we'll go into it goes into the rookies. Nice transition into the rookies fantasy wise. Kicker, rookie Cade York. He's a 4th round pick. He is. The Browns saw what the Bengals did last year with Evan McPherson. They said, we want one of those. So they went and got Cade York in the 4th round at LSU. Monster leg. We saw him walk it off against Florida there in the fog in Death Valley. So I think Cade York's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be Evan McPherson his rookie year, but I think he will be good. And I think you're not going to draft him. I wouldn't draft a rookie kicker because you really never know, especially with the bar being set for rookie kickers at Evan McPherson. I think that's very high to think of. So I think someone will draft him. Maybe not. But I think you monitor him if he goes undrafted. Monitor it and maybe come up on waivers after the first couple weeks if your kicker isn't doing well or gets injured, whatever. And then the other rookie I have listed, wide receiver David Bell out of Purdue, slotted as the 3rd wide receiver right now. I think he's going to supplant Donovan Peoples-Jones eventually. David Bell was a star at Purdue, and I really like him. I think he's a big dude, right? 6'2", 6'1". Okay,
yeah.
Inch shorter than
that. He was good at Purdue.
6'1", 212. Big dude. Not as big as Donovan Peoples-Jones because Peoples-Jones is 6'2", 204. So a little bit heavier and shorter, but similar size. I think David Bell is going to supplant Donovan Peoples-Jones. I didn't think Peoples-Jones was going to be anything coming out of Michigan. But yeah, I like David Bell to eventually be the number 2 in the offense. When Deshaun comes back, I think Bell's a great option in Dynasty if you're looking for a guy late in your draft. Or undrafted free agency, David Bell should be a guy you should pick up and keep on your bench in dynasty leagues. And that's it. That is the AFC North season preview, my friend. Took us a while. I know I talked way too much probably, but it's one of my 3 NFL team divisions. So I know a lot more about this division than I do most of the other divisions.
That's all right.
Your closing thoughts, Mark Warren. What do you think goes down in the AFC North this year?
It's one of my favorite divisions just because of the way that they play each other, which is why you can keep saying everybody might go 9-8, but it's an exciting quarterback league for the fact that you got Joey football. Is Lamar Jackson going to get paid, or are they going to play it out? And then what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson? And are we going to see Kenny Pickett? So I look at it's got some intrigue to this league, and I like the type of football when they play each other. It's always close games.
Yeah, I think for the first time in quite a while, you saw all 4 teams have a bunch of new blood come into their teams. And it's not just the vet guys. For years, it was like, all right, we got Big Ben We got Joe Flacco, we got Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and then you got whoever the Browns are starting at quarterback. and the Bengals had Andy Dalton for years. So it's not the same thing anymore. It's new blood. We got a lot of young guys in division, and it's up and coming. And I think going to make the AFC as a whole very exciting. So Monday's show, we will be back. Training camp. That's wrong. Week 1. It's training camp week 2 next week.
Week 2.
This was week 1 this week. So training camp week 2, we'll be back. We'll break down the rest of the current NFL news. And I'm sure we'll get a bunch more over the weekend as training camps roll on. And then we're going to do the AFC West season preview. So that one should be very juicy. Just as exciting as the AFC North. And you missed your division already, Mark. NFC West was our last show. So sorry, but we're going AFC West.
That's all right.
All right, that is the show for today. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you, Mark, for coming on the road. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and check out our at FAA_bets page on Twitter as well. I am posting futures every Monday. I think this Monday, right before the show, I'm going to put on some awards futures. We've been doing wins futures for the first couple of weeks since the account launched. I think I'm going to do some awards though this week. So make sure to tune in for that. Once again, thank you, Mark, and we will see y'all